Welcome to From an Educator. In today's episode, we talk about deep work, which happens to be the title of this amazing book, Deep Work by Cal Newport, which we're going to reference. All right, let's get to it. Welcome back to From an Educator. I'm Mr. James, an educator. Today's episode is entitled Deep Work. This is show number 56. It is currently April, almost May 30th. April 30th. And wow, what a week. Well, we'll go over that in a moment, but just to say that I've been working a lot. I've been able to tie a lot of things together this week, which has been great. At the same time, the end of school is near, and I'll be discussing that in this episode as well, because for a lot of people, I hear a lot of teachers talking all the time about, hey, it's coming up. Hey, only 5 more weeks. Hey, it's just around the corner, summer, and I'm really not looking forward to it. I have so many things that I haven't been able to get to this year, and things that I've learned from each rotation of students that I want to continue on with, that I have these extension ideas and I can't get to it. And I'm going to put it in my notes. I have detailed notes on everything I do, but who knows if it's going to work next year with how much of a mess we've forecasted, with the fact that all the students will be back together, and anything that we used for a small group is probably not going to play well with a larger group. So teachers out there, we're sweating it. Summer vacation is not going to be a vacation, at least not for me. I'm going to be planning, and I've already started doing that. I've already started a couple things that are going to continue on throughout the year, throughout the summer and the rest of the year. Things that I'm going to be doing digitally that I can continue on with to keep in contact with students, so I can teach them on another platform, because basically the classroom is going to be so limited. It was limited this year, but it's going to be even more limited next year with the digital element taken away. It doesn't mean I can't provide a website or a YouTube channel to them. So it's going to be something I want to work with. Well, let's find out what's happening in Maine, shall we? So the updates as of today, April 30th, 2021, still a pandemic, of course. Maine, we had 268 cases today, and an average of the last 7 days, 297. So it is going down. Remember last week it was around 400, and it looks like it's getting probably a little bit better, but at the same time, we had a vacation the week prior to this week, and maybe something still going to incubate. I don't know. And so maybe next week there may be a problem. But the school that I work for is now considered a breakout site. And I've noticed a few staff and students that have been missing, and they're going to be quarantining until I think a week from now. So there is that. And Saturday, there'll be new rules for this area about masking. And I actually believe there's going to be a masking thing that has to do with indoor masking. I think they're going to be more lenient with that, which I really don't want to happen. But they're also going to be lenient about those coming into the state quarantining. I don't think you need to quarantine now. I don't know if it's, those vaccinated or not, but I mean, honestly, if someone comes to the state, there's going to be nobody there holding some law enforcement against somebody who's not completely vaccinated and going out. I don't think that's going to be a question someone gets at a restaurant. Are you fully vaccinated? Well, I guess you can't order this burrito. I don't think it's going to happen. So there are 5 weeks left of school. Everybody really kind of wants to survive and get through this. That's kind of the biggest thing. Can we get through this in time, please? Can we get through this? And and let's not worry about sports and all the chatter I'm hearing. Those talking about sports, I'm hearing those talking about activities they want to do with their kids, and wondering if parks and stuff will be open and what the rules are going to be for that, because people are already planning their vacation. And I'm still here wondering how I can continue to teach and how I can be there as a support for students that saw me as a role model this year, so I can continue to teach in a digital way, because I've started some things that I can continue to do online without too much effort. And I want to keep doing this. I want to make sure everything works out. Plus, I have a lot of things that I'll be doing during the summer that'll be work. And one of them is summer school, but I also have classes, and I have actually a special class I have to take for a new program that's going to start next year. I'm going to have a rock band. Yeah. So those are the updates. I'm hoping. So as of last Wednesday, actually this Wednesday, I'm fully vaccinated. I had the 2 weeks post the second dose. I'm just hoping that this vaccine that I had does help against the virus, especially since I have some gigs coming up as well. And I just want to be out of harm's way. I love wearing masks. I almost thought of having the mask on during these episodes, even though I'm in my own room alone. I just thought of that just as a show of, hey, I stick with the mask. But this is what it is, right? All right. So I had the first big discussion I wanted to have tonight, I guess, with myself. No, this is kind of like a monologue I'm giving right here, right? So this is called The Road to the End, and it's the road to the end of the school year, even though pictured on the screen as a road looks like through Iceland, possibly. I don't know if it's just smoke and fog from maybe a volcano or, yeah. Anyways, my biggest opener to this slide is that I'm not excited, I mentioned earlier, about this year being over, because I have so many more things to offer, and now it will have to be YouTube projects. So I have a dedicated channel for the students, and anything I've wanted to show them, because of the fact that we've had problems with Google Drive, I've resorted to using YouTube. Now, it wasn't available up until a month and a half ago, or maybe just a month ago. Students weren't able to access YouTube, and then they were. And I took that opportunity and said, well, I've recorded some videos. I'm going to put them on YouTube. And of course, I've got to slap the beginning and the end and the thumbnail and all that stuff that makes this thing look neat. And yeah, I also can tell if someone's watched the video, which is great, and be there to receive comments. Although if it's made for children, there are no comments, but I can still have comments that I can get them through the other resources, Seesaw and Google Classroom. And I can improve, and I'm trying to always improve. And one of the big things I need to do is upgrade my computer, as we've said before in this show. I need to get with the times as far as hardware and software is concerned. I'm currently recording this with Zoom. I've been using Zoom for quite a while, but I do see the need to have some better graphics and some better camera. And I'm working on the lighting, but I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I just want it to be enough so that students want to engage. And that's probably my biggest thing, is I want to get students to come to the site, see videos, recognize me, and then pick up on something that they learned in class and say, oh, wow, I can watch that video and I can learn a little bit more. Maybe I touch upon something they didn't listen to or didn't hear, or maybe I didn't mention it in class, and there. And that video is forever, and you can slow it down and you can speed it up and you can replay it over and over again till you understand everything that I say. And that's kind of probably even why I'm doing this podcast and this vlog. It's something that we can have. It's kind of like a diary. It's just something you can have that is forever in a digital form. You know, I can see owning things, physical things. People think that's forever. And I'm kind of thinking now digital is more forever until maybe the internet changes. I'm hoping it doesn't have a big drastic change, but these digital means of communicating or socially putting ourselves out there have a sort of like immortality to themselves. But anyways, having myself on YouTube is, I think, beneficial, and it allows me to do a lot of things I can't do in class. I couldn't because of movement restrictions as far as space, as well as things that I couldn't do. I'd have a mask on, or there were things that I might not bring to the school, like said guitars back here. I wouldn't have to bring a lot of different things. So I'm not excited about this being over. Not just about losing the space, but not having students that I can readily talk to in person. Be like, hey, did you check out that thing I did? And how about this? And how about that? But I realize that we have to have the break, and I do want students to enjoy the summer. I'm just hoping that it's going to be somewhat like a summer, unlike the last one. As far as another big part of my life, my workouts are getting better. I'm somewhat sore, but I'm recovering better now that I've got heavier weights that I'm going to be working with, and I look forward to it in the morning. My nutrition is getting better. I've increased my salad intake, and I'm going to go over that in this podcast in more depth. But I eat a whole food, plant-based diet. Sometimes I have some, vegan meats and stuff like that. But for the most part, I'm looking for foods with lots of nutrients in it. I've been plant-based for over 2 years, and that's not going to change. But I'm always looking for ways to include more things and getting the ratios right for carbohydrates, fats, protein. Definitely want a little bit more protein now that I'm exercising more, but I also want stuff that I want to feel good eating it, and I want to have the energy after I've eaten it. There are a lot of foods that you can eat and you don't have the energy, and you need that energy. I just need to be able to have food be so scheduled and automatic, kind of like I try to make with the rest of my life, that it's not something I have to take time out of my day to worry about or approach in a way that concerns me more than there's only so much of your time that you can spare to food. And you need to spare more time to doing the jobs that help benefit others. And my nutrition is not benefiting anybody but myself. So that's something I have to get down and dial it in perfectly. So leaving school is gonna do something to my nutrition, because I'll be getting 8,000 to 10,000 less steps per day without school, and I'm gonna have to find a way to balance that somehow. So that's one of the things that summer is going to mean for me: moving around a lot more, taking a lot more walks, biking. I thought rollerblading for a while, but maybe I'm kind of out of that now. I want to make sure I keep my wrists intact if I'm going to play a lot of gigs. But it's one of those getting ready for this schedule at school and every single day, waking up really early, which I'm going to continue to do, but I won't have any place to actually go to. So my day will start early. I just won't have to do a lot of things. But it's just one of those things I have to kind of plan for. So preparation time has started for me for the next year. This new year needs to be planned for. I think a lot of teachers want summer vacation to be a time when they can unplug and they don't want to think about anything, but there is this communication that stays open between all teachers and our school, the administration, and you can get emailed anytime with what's going to happen. And there's that fear that it's going to be less than optimal. So any planning I do is going to have multiple ways that it could change. And I know it's going to change. I think what I've set up this year is something that works out really well. It has worked well. I wasn't able to do enough, and I'm hoping I can extend upon that next year. But I honestly can't see what it's going to look like with double the amount of students. So, in any time in the near future, if I can know what that might look like, and we can have something definite, which definitely won't happen, but that would be great, because right now, trying to salvage the last 3 years and come up with something for the next year is going to be interesting if it can apply to every student. So, to our main title, main theme for the show, deep work. So if you can look on the screen, and if not, I'm going to mention it anyways. Deep Work is actually a book written by Cal Newport. The full title is Deep Work: Rules for Focused Success in a Distracted World. And yeah, that's exactly what it is. Now, I'm not going to give you everything about this book. I'm not going to give you all of the analogies, the metaphors. I'm not going to give you Cal Newport's specific steps, but I'm going to have you recognize how you can approach deep work and what deep work actually is. And you probably already have done stuff like this before. It's just, if you can notice it and you want to do it more, then you can notice how you got into it and you can plan for that to happen more, if that makes any sense, which should make sense. Because if you have a result that you got from doing something, say you had energy after eating a certain food, and you said, wow, I had a lot of energy and I had it at this specific time, I had this food, then maybe you're probably going to have that food at that specific time every single time you want that energy, which probably will be every single day. And you'll schedule it, and it'll just be one of these things until it stops giving you energy. Then you're going to have to wonder what happened. So I think our entire lives are something we have to be scientific about. We have to be analytical about everything that happens, because we want to make things easier for ourselves, because there are other things we should be thinking about and worrying about, and problems are going to arise all the time. So get anything you can that has to do with keeping yourself healthy and efficient, and just kind of get that taken care of so you can move and add other things in. I think that's basically my life in a nutshell. I've been trying to add on these past 3 to 5 weeks more and more and more, and I'm continuously moving. I'm continuously getting better. I'm doing my deep work. So deep work is basically working on things without distraction. You get deeper into whatever work you're doing. It could be something where you're focusing on, say you had a paper to write for a class. And I've had that happen for many, many years, where I had to either wake up early or stay up late and just lock myself away from everybody, put on some music if that's what I needed, and just crunch words. And I did that. I got really good at doing that. I knew my process really well. And I'm going to tell you in a little while how I approach that, and kind of how I use all of these 4 philosophies I'm going to mention to get to deep work. and how yet I want more deep work, because that's one of the things as an introvert I look forward to. I look forward to being by myself and doing things, which means I do look forward to this podcast. I do miss having a co-host to bounce ideas off of, but at the same time, this does fulfill something in me that I can record myself, hopefully with fewer edits than last week. But I can put out my ideas into the world, and I can maybe formulate them better so I can understand them better. Because when we teach, when we talk, we learn more about ourselves and about our subjects. So how do you want to approach deep work? And this is something Cal Newport, lines up in his part 2 of this book that basically I got to, and I was like, wait a minute, yeah, I did all of these, and there are a few that I use more often now, for the sake of the fact that I've got so many other things going on in my life. But there are a couple that I would love to get back to doing. So the first one is the extreme, and it's called the monastic philosophy. And that basically means to retreat. For those that have the means, the money, and not too many, if any, family engagements or obligations, they can go away. They can go away maybe to a secluded house on an island in the mountains, somewhere where they're not going to be bothered. They can unplug and they can get to work on whatever they want to write, the next novel or some project they need to work on, and they can just do things by themselves. Now, we understand, and the author mentioned this as well as myself, that there are people that work in groups, and there's small groups, and the small groups want to be alone and they can work together. Yeah, that's one thing. I'm really talking about doing deep work as by yourself, for the fact that you're going to have to learn how to do that if you even want to work with a group and do any sort of deep work with a group, because you need to be able to go approach this by yourself. You need to know what you can handle and how to get to that point where you can really focus. It really comes down to focusing. Can you focus for a long time amidst distractions? Do you need a specific location, a specific time, a place? What is it that you need so that you get into this deep focus? If it requires so many different elements to come together, then maybe you need to work on finding another way, because it's not going to be easy to have everything aligned to make it so that you can instantly go into a deep work state. I like saying the word state because it reminds me of someone that is mentioned in this book, which is a scientist named Csikszentmihalyi, who developed flow. That's a quote, flow state, where everything seems to be working and you have ideas and it's just everything's great and you just feel great with the fact that information's coming out of you and you're able to put things together. And I've had that happen. I had that happen with music all the time. It doesn't stay for a long time. It's not something that like everything stays perfect. You think of something else, something happens, you're hungry, you get distracted by looking at something. If I'm playing the guitar, my finger slips and there's a tiny little micro thing that happened that I didn't expect to happen or I didn't want to happen, and then it kind of takes you out of that state. But that's something everybody's looking for. I always think of it as referencing surfers, and I've never been surfing, but I've seen surfers wait for the waves, and once they get that wave and they're able to finally ride this wave, they get into this state of like, wow, everything's working. I could finally actually surf and not just be looking for waves and, be preparing for everything. So being monastic, going away, retreating, that's not for everybody. A lot of us can't do that. So the next one that we might be able to do is something called bimodal, which is basically dividing your time up. Okay, for half a week I'm here, for half a week I'm there. I have to divide my time up between these things. I'm not going to let one seep into the other. It's kind of like when I go to work in the morning. I go to school, I have clear goals that I want to do. I might have to correct some things. I might have to make some videos, do a little bit of video editing, prepare the room. I've got a whole list of things I have to do every single morning to get the room ready, and what I'm going to do between classes, and then going over my activities for the day. I have a slide that talks about everything, how I'm going to say that, and I read through it. I go in through my mind how I'm going to walk around. I choreograph that. When I get home, I'm not always thinking about that. I might be thinking a little bit about school. I might have a few things, residuals that I might do, but at the same time, it's not the same thing as being, in the actual school where I can actually walk the steps. So that is something that I do a little bit, but I wouldn't say I'm doing the deepest work that way. But for those that can do that, that's great. You can divide up your time perfectly. Okay, half the week I'm doing this, half the week I'm doing that. Great, make it easy. The next two are the ones I find that I can do the easiest, even though I think some of them are difficult because it requires doing deep work almost at the drop of a hat. Except for this next one, actually, it's more at the drop of a time, if that makes any sense. So rhythmic. The rhythmic philosophy is creating a regular habit. Now, I wake up close to 5 a.m. every single morning, and I work out. And working out to me is deep work. I have kept these workouts. It keeps me having energy, keeps me feeling strong. I digest food better. And I've created this habit because I want to feel good. I want to be at my best. And I don't break it. It's just something that I look forward to at night. It gets to the morning. It doesn't matter if I'm tired. It doesn't matter if my heart rate variability, chest strap tells me that I should be, my sympathetic nervous system is saying I'm too stressed, or my parasympathetic nervous system saying that I need to recover from the previous day. I'm still going to do a workout. I have to do that. And it's because I have this deep work, this rhythmic sort of schedule that it has to go through. So, and I have a lot of different schedules like this, but I want more. Now, I'm actually the type of person that wouldn't mind having my day blocked out on a Google Calendar and knowing exactly what I have to do, how I have to prepare for that, looking forward to whatever block. I do that with food, although it changes a little bit, between school and not being at school, and that's going to be another thing I have to get used to. But it's something I like the organization of this, and I have a degree in organization. I love organizing, the psychology behind it. Love making things neat. I guess I like habits. I like having something that's set, and it probably gives me more power in having that. But I'm glad that I'm able to do this because being able to set a schedule and have a certain time I do a certain time a week or a certain time a day, and doing something means that I can set goals and I can manage my time to do that sort of thing. So if you're great with managing your time during the day, then this rhythmic philosophy might be the way that you approach doing deep work. The last one is what Cal calls journalistic. And that basically means fit it in whenever you can. Say you are busy waiting for something, maybe let's just say you have a car or vehicle that's in the shop and you happen to have a laptop with you and you have to have a paper you're working on, or you have to correct something or whatever. And you're waiting, and that's a perfect time to do some of that work. Get the laptop out, start cracking away at it. That's your journalistic way. You're able to put a little bit of deep work into that. Now, the question is, how deep are you getting with that? But there are some people that can go from 0 to 60 in deep work like incredibly fast. And that's probably something that I think is worth building. Now, I'm not going to mention how Cal mentions in the book to build these, because that's something I think you should all explore. But it's something that you want to be able to do. You want to be able to turn things on and off, right? You need to adapt. As a teacher, I have students come in and situations change and something doesn't work, and I have to quickly move to something else. And I like that. I like being on my toes. I do this when I play musical theater and someone on stage forgets a line, or they start singing a song in the wrong place, and the music director's like, jump to this. And I don't mind. I can quickly pick it up. It happens when I play with my bands. If something happens, someone forgets something, or someone forgets a verse, or whatever happens, and you just go there and you have to make these split decisions. And there's a sort of a rush to that. But at the same time, it's nice that you have those skills to do that. And I think maybe the exercising is helping me get better at doing that. But I also think being able to do deep work in some of the things that I'm doing, I do deep work when I'm practicing guitar, when I'm practicing keyboards, all these things I got to get ready for. I'm able to study and figure out exactly what I need to learn in these songs, so I can, get the gist of it. If I just want to get, the rough estimate, or get specifically everything that's playing, and I can, rewind recordings and say, am I getting everything perfect? So I do that in sort of a journalistic way, because whenever I can fit it in, I'll fit it in. Most of the time, I prefer a habit that I've created. So I have this allotted time and I won't go beyond that time. But I'm not able to lock myself away in a monastic way. And bimodal still seems to me more like the habit creation, but I can't really divide myself between two different worlds. My worlds intertwine. I'm just able to switch between them quickly, kind of like a chameleon switches colors. So one of the big things Cal mentions in his book, and this will be my sort of wrap up for this, is to be bored and to include downtime so you can let your mind wander. I've always mentioned before, I think I mentioned this podcast, but I mentioned to people that when you have something to think about, and something that you have a decision to make, or it's going to change some part of your life, or there's just something you have to ponder, sleep on it, right? Take some time away and don't think about it. Or sleep and rest and wake up and, everything in the morning seems clear. You need some time to get your mind away from that so you can come back and get back to this work. Deep focus for a prolonged time is not easy, and taking supplements, taking whatever you can to get yourself into that state, while many people are toting these products online, it's not something that you're physically going to, do all the time for this to work. And at the same time, I'm not promoting any of that stuff. I think you need to physically be able to do it yourself. It's the same thing with people looking great with their body and exercising. They need to put the work in. Supplements and whatnot can't do that for you. And you can't always rely on something else to make yourself better. You've got to make yourself better. And I think for me, at least, deep work is very important. It's very important to make you better, but it also helps others, perceive you as better. Even if that means you don't open the social media floodgates every single day, because one of the things mentioned in this book is to get rid of social media. I'm not saying I'm doing that, but yeah, hopefully we'll have another show. Well, thank you everybody for joining us for episode 56 of From an Educator. As always, if you enjoy what you're listening to, share with others, subscribe, like, comment. I'm always there for comments. I would love to have a show where I just answer comments. That'd be great. Definitely do some deep work. Check out Cal Newport's book, Deep Work. Definitely is something that gives you some ideas on how to do some deep work. But also, look into how you can schedule something in your life. So what do you want to work on? Think of what you want to work on. And how can you put that in your schedule? I think it all comes down to time management. We all need to be better with our time. And we honestly, what's on my mind right now, every time I do one of these shows, is how many times that I have to repeat myself or pause so I can edit the video and take something out. I might have messed up, or I might have gone on a tangent that I didn't feel would work. And I want to get to a point someday where I don't have to do that at all. Where I can just talk and it can be perfect. We know that's not going to happen because nothing is perfect. But maybe I'm just going to get better at setting these pauses into my videos so I can edit better, I guess. I'm going to have to get better at one of the things, either talking or editing. I guess that's how it works in this world of media. So I will see you next time.